All right, Jessica, Dennis Martin Gillan here, and we're doing it. It's a tough
Did you
subject. The
just say
podcast.
Dennis Martin Gillan? There's a new way we're introducing now, huh? This is Jessica Heather Seel.
Wow, that's a mouthful. I know, it just flows. Dennis Martin Gillan. I just threw it out there. And it's interesting because Martin was my dad's name. And when I was on the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, they said, don't use your real name. So I used my middle name. I was Marty.
All right, Marty. You can call me Heather.
Heather. That's it. 2 new hosts today. Jessica, a lot on my heart this week. We had planned to talk about a couple things. One of them was murder suicide, which is awful. I got tugged in a direction yesterday, so it's almost a God note. So I thought about touching all the third rails today, God and politics, all of it. But one of the struggles I have, and we're going to weave it all into this today, is my foundation, Half a Sorrow Foundation. I purposely, even though I'm a man of faith, I'm trying not to make it a Christian ministry. And here's why. Because people, desperate souls, are mad at God.
Right. It's hard sometimes.
If I come at them, hey, you got to pray that away, like, whoa. Yeah. So I did 2 Bible studies this week. I went on Wednesday and then one on Thursday, but the one on Thursday was like, calling you to witness to people. And I got to go where people are. And desperate souls, the reason I know people can be mad at God is I was mad at God. I buried 2 brothers to suicide after Matthew died, and walking behind that casket, you think I was like, well, God only gives you what you can handle. Like, you think I was in that mood?
That's for people that just don't know what else to say.
Oh, my prayer was more like, dear God, WTF.
I know, right?
That was the prayer. And then, so I've been wrestling with that. And I think I still land where I originally started was, don't make it a ministry, because I have to reach people where they are. And if they're in that corner or far away from God, I got to go in there. Help me out. I'm working this through.
Well, so just for the audience, Dennis and I literally make this authentic. Whatever's on our hearts, whatever we're thinking about. I mean, truthfully, people could tell, right, we don't have this scripted. It is so weird you say that, Dennis. Honestly, because, and I'm just going to say it, I was sitting in church last Sunday and I felt, and I hope, maybe if someone is listening from my church, I'm okay with it. I felt a little shame. I felt a little controversial. I felt uncomfortable in church. And I felt that before. Sure. I lost my dad to suicide. I have been very open about the absolute lack of engagement and support from our church to my family when I was 18 years old. My brother was 12. My sister was 15. My mother was 38. And wow, these people might need some help, and nobody came around because I believe fully the way that he died. So I had some anger, not towards God necessarily, but from the establishment, from church. So weaving that in and talking about it is so hard as Christians, and I'm a Christian, I will fully admit that. But I hear you, like this is where it gets icky and sticky and uncomfortable for us. Am I right?
You're spot on. And here's why I think not doing a Christian ministry and just keeping Half a Sorrow Foundation, what would you say? What's the opposite of like a ministry, like a secular or?
I don't know. Well, say
some
neutral.
People have a way with words and other people don't. We have a podcast. We should know. But I want to keep it neutral.
I think people get it.
Because I did get invited, believe it or not. I spoke at the Jewish Federation here in town. I got that invitation, and one of the first guys to the table, like they had a sign-up table, and one of the first guys out of the chute says, I was there. I was suicidal. And I come in neutral, and it was. I learned a lot that day. They did it's almost like their Valentine's Day. I forgot the name of the word. It was a Jewish word, and it's about loving yourself. And they brought me in as a speaker. I thought that was awesome. Great friends come out of that place. So that's what I'm struggling with, and not even struggling with that. That's where I am. And I'm wondering, like, sometimes am I denying my faith by not bringing it up?
Yeah.
Or
I feel you.
I embrace it fully in front of the desperate souls. Some of the folks work out. I caught crap on Reddit for having our loss meeting, which is a survivor of suicide loss meeting at a church. I caught crap for that. In the
You know what I've learned, Dennis? You're not going to please everybody. It is virtually impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't judge you either way. That's not my role. It's not our role as humans.
Yeah.
I guess, in my opinion, and I'll be honest, I've only gotten this way in the last several years. I guess you know what they say about middle age. You start to change and values look different. I'm guided by everything through my Lord and Savior. But that is not, judgment is not a part of that. I just don't want to talk. I don't quote scripture. I had a girl when I was an undergrad, and I was an older student. So let's say I was 40 years old, 51 now, who was struggling with her sexuality and had attempted suicide. And she was angry at church people. And we talked about it and without judgment. The day that she graduated, she sent me a note that said that I was the first Christian that had ever treated her with dignity and respect. And I may have said that before because it was a defining moment in my life where I felt like I had actually, when I come before God, that will be something that I will be proud to hold my head up high and say I did. I didn't judge her. It's not my place. I just loved her. So whether it's done in a church or whatever, it's just the action. It's not the words. Do it, live it, don't say it.
Live it. Exactly. And that's, I think, through this ministry, I'm living it.
You are doing a ministry, whether you want to call it that or not.
They feel it. I'm not going to come at them and hit them over the head. But the funny thing about, you said middle-aged things, your values change. And as you get older, I don't know, at least me, I started getting closer to the Bible. And one of my buddies said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm cramming for the final."
Dang, I'm going to have to say that.
I'm cramming for the final.
Of course, we know that it doesn't make, if you read the Bible, doesn't assure you of getting into. I'm just trying to learn how I'm supposed to be. And that's my prayer every day. Or just, an hour ago when I was praying with my husband, which we do every day and read, it was just like, help me figure out how I can be a better human being. Like, please, I know that I can be better. I'm not going to be perfect. I know I can be better. Anybody can. We all can, right? And getting in the ditches with folks and like Jesus did, right? Jesus went to the bar. He went to the whorehouse, all of the places where the pariahs we think of
hung out
socially.
with all the outcasts, yeah.
Right. And
that's right. If he came back now, it would be wild. Like he'd be hanging out with he'd be hanging out with trans folks. He'd be hanging out with everyone. He would not even go to some of the big churches. He wouldn't even walk in there.
But you know what? I give them grace too. What we as a society like to say, well, these people, they're sinners too.
God's image.
That's right. So maybe we do, and maybe that's where we should be everywhere. I try not to do that because I feel what happened to me and my family as a young person was so powerful, and there was so much hurt, not at Jesus, at people. I didn't go to church for 25 years until recently, really, when I met my husband, and he was like, "Why aren't you going to church? That's what we do." And I'm like, "I have my own relationship." And then he explained to me that it just reminds me every week to focus that time solely on him. And that's what I do now.
And we need churches, synagogues. Let's be politically correct here, name them all. Mosque. We need all that stuff for that social connection too.
Yeah.
That's a big part of that.
Yeah.
And church attendance is declining. That's a fact. And that's sad. We need it now more than ever. There's a movie out right now called Join or Die. It's on Netflix. And it was based off this gentleman's research he did years ago the article was called Bowling Alone. The book, it was how bowling leagues are declining, but more people are bowling. And his hypothesis was, what are people doing? Bowling alone? Are they going by themselves? And it's about
maybe they don't want to be a part of a team.
No, what was crazy was Join or Die. I recommend you watch. And he does touch on the church stuff too, attendance-wise. But it used to be everyone belonged to some kind of club or some kind of social club. And you would go to a town and there would be a sign in the town and it had all the clubs that would meet. Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions Club, all on the bottom of the sign, and would tell you the day and where.
Yeah.
Welcome to our town. This is where we meet. And we're not meeting anymore. Tying it back to church, attendance is way down in some places. And it's sad because it's needed now more than ever, that social connection.
I want to explain what I said about my church last Sunday. And I feel a little fearful to say this because I love my pastor. There was a little bit of underlying politics brought into the sermon. I did not like it, Dennis. I didn't like it at all.
Everything's political now. It stinks. Everything.
I didn't like it.
Cracker Barrel went to change their logo. It got political. Like, how's that? A restaurant nobody's been to, but everyone loves, but we don't go anymore. They decided to...
I literally wouldn't have thought anything about it until people started saying, well, this is why. And listen, I'm a, I like to keep my business to myself. I believe that I have a right to believe whatever I want. I didn't want to hear it in church. It challenged me in a way, but I felt like it was one-sided, and I felt like it could have been divisive.
Well, we're at the point in America and this is back to the mental health and suicide prevention. It all ties in. We're at a point in America, if you say something, 50% of the people love you for saying it, and the other 50% are ready to head out the door. It's that bad.
I know. And mental health it's being used as it is. It's making me, I was actually talking to my therapist yesterday, and I said, I've been really sad because of just the things that I see in my world right now. And I get angry. I get angry when I see things. I get angry when I see people that I respect take a point, either side, by the way, and are just hateful about it. Like, you're wrong. This is stupid. And I'm like, why are we talking? What I want to say, and I have before, usually I hold my tongue because I try not to be that person. But I'm like, actually, I did do this. I may have said this. Come talk to me. Let's have coffee. Say this in front of me. Let's talk. You know what I hear? Crickets.
Oh, yeah. Crickets, yeah. Well, social media, Mike Tyson had a quote about social media. He says, you get to say stuff on social media that normally would get you punched in the face in person.
Good old Mike Tyson theories. Got it. If Mike Tyson says it, there's power in it, right?
All right, here comes my Mike Tyson imitation. I just can't see myself losing. Remember
I just think face tattoo. That was before face tattoos were really a thing. Like, he led that revolution.
The dude rocks it.
But you know what? I bet everybody, the thing about that is even the toughest human being, hey, we all have mental health challenges.
So I'm going to tie this all together with some of the themes that are going on in my head this week, because I'm with you. So you're looking at the pulpit. It got a little political. Everything online is political. Everything online. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist because I think it impacts.
Lord, I have them in my life.
I got to tell you.
Oh, Lord.
This is maybe because it's my conspiracy. It's probably true. Everyone thinks that this is mine. No, but it's not that controversial. A lot of the accounts that are online, say wherever you go, and I picked Twitter this morning when I was doing my research, they think 20 to 64% of the accounts online are bots. They're not real people. So here we have, I'm going to go back to Cracker Barrel. Here's an issue. They changed the logo. You and I, if they did that in the 70s, we never would have heard about it. We would have drove by like, oh, they changed the logo.
And maybe in the paper at the bottom of the first,
it wouldn't even registered with us. Like, all right, it's still a great restaurant. Whatever. Perfect. I'm still going there. Doesn't impact me. So it became this thing online, but it was driven by these bots. It wasn't a big issue. And these bots caught it and they inflamed it. I think these bots are folks that don't want to see us do well in America, outside entities, be it Russia, Chinese, whatever. Whoever doesn't want us to do well, any enemy of us.
They're laughing at us, and we're just feeding right into it.
And there's a little flame about the controversy. Then they fan it, and it goes nuts. Then the local news media, desperate for a story, desperate for ratings, desperate for clicks, journalism.
Lord, have mercy.
They pick up on it. Cracker Barrel's changed it. It didn't impact any of our lives in any way, shape, or form.
I'm going to get my hash brown casserole no matter what, okay?
It doesn't impact us. And then here we are, and I got caught up in it. I'm like, oh my God.
And then you get upset, and then you have anxiety, and then you get just down, and you go up and down, up and down.
Back to what we talk about. It's all layered, and we're trying to do suicide prevention.
Think about somebody that's already fragile, that's already contemplating suicide.
We talked about that on last one.
That if it's bothering us, then what is it doing to someone that is just so fragile and maybe not thinking clearly?
We talked about the ChatGPT. Yeah.
Right. It could literally kill you. I mean, we have dangerous, they say dangerous rhetoric, people are going out and, for folks that are listening, Dennis and I told him last time, I was like, I really want to talk about this whole murder suicide concept because that is just an area that I'm going to admit it. It is hard. It is hard to have empathy and compassion for me, just I'm being transparent here. But, the things that are going on right now are really pushing people in a very dangerous space on multiple fronts. And I feel like we need to just get to a point where we can be humans again. We are bots. We are social media bots. Writing, we're keyboard warriors.
I got to get off it. It was really impacting my mental health. And
100%.
There's a report out there on Mashable did a study, and I'm looking at my other screen because I pulled it up, that during the Super Bowl, 75% of the traffic on Twitter was fake. We all watch the Super Bowl and then go on Twitter to see what people are saying about it. It's not people.
I don't Twitter. I don't
Good
X.
for you. I got to get off there.
I'm not going on anything. I don't even Instagram. My Facebook because I like to share pics of my dogs, my work, and my grandchildren. Other than that, I ain't doing it.
I still can't get in my Facebook account. It's so bad. So the customer service is so bad. I literally wrote them a letter and put it in an envelope and mailed it to them. That's where I am with Facebook.
You know what I heard yesterday?
A
little bit of good news. There's a return of the landline.
People getting phones
parents are getting phones for their children so they don't have opportunity for screen time. I'm not against it.
Or they call them dumb phones where they can't load apps, but you could text them, you could track where they are for kids, and they cannot load any social on it. I am all for it.
Think about the way we thought back then compared to now. Everything you just said that is affecting us would not have affected us 20 years ago at all.
Cracker Barrel changes their logo. It doesn't even hit my radar. It doesn't now, it doesn't get me in a tizzy and doesn't get me all fired up. It doesn't even impact Dennis Martin Gillan. All right. So you mentioned something there. I'm going to come backwards again. Murder, suicide. Did I tell you I did a training? It was an awesome training. I'm a big fan of this thing. It's called Soul Shop. It's going to soulshopmovement.org. We had Michelle on Snyder, who does that training. And I was in a soul shop where a woman lost her son to a murder-suicide, where they actually, it was bad, killed the wife and the kid and then killed himself. So she still lost her son to suicide. But before he left, he took a couple folks with him.
And that has become, I hear about those things a lot.
The mass shootings often end with the gunman taking his own life, his or her own life. And it's unfortunate because I want to grab that person and interview him. Like, what are you thinking? I'm sure the FBI does too. You're like, what was going through your mind? How did you get here? Do that autopsy, the psychological autopsy on the person. Like, how did you get to the point where you wanted to shoot up a school? Or, years ago when that guy went and shot up the Amish school. Like, how bad is it that you want to shoot these angels on earth?
It's hard to be It's hard to have empathy for someone like that. It's really, 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 really hard.
Well,
really hard.
Dylan Klebold, he was one of the Columbine shooters. You got to watch his mom's TEDx talk.
I know we talk about that. Even just people that this young man that shot, the Charlie Kirk in Utah. I feel bad for his family. I do have empathy for them. He did not take his own life. I'm surprised he didn't. To be honest with you. But, then recently we had this man in, where was it? Not up in Michigan, somewhere last week. I mean, it's every week. So, they come in, they shoot people, and then, they take their own life and everybody's mad. And, they're like, they feel like they didn't get justice. I don't want to think about something like that because I have to be in a situation to know how I'd really feel about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. A lot of us times we extrapolate our feelings to something that it would be different if you're in it.
I try to think like have you seen the father that's daughter was murdered here, right, in South Carolina? I didn't know anything about it. It's horrible. I cried because I know young people. My niece is living alone in Charlotte, North Carolina. And what happened to her is horrible. And this man had been out and had been arrested 15, 16 times. And the father, I feel bad, Dennis, because I could understand my dad, if he were alive. My dad was an interesting person, and he probably would be in prison right now if that was one of his daughters, because I just know how he was.
Yeah.
But it makes my heart hurt. If the man had taken his life, people like that feel like they're not able to get justice. So there's that piece to it too. You got a person that took their own life. You got a family from that person. You got the person, the victim, that family. And then you have a society that just, half of the society says lock them up. Half of the society says give them another chance. And that's another piece of this. Some people are glad if they take their own life.
I've heard people say that, well, I saved the justice system, all this time.
That's right.
I've heard that argument. And it all comes back to, fully what we're doing here, and it's a tough subject. We're taking them all on, but it impacts our mental health. All of this,
yes.
The barrage. We're drinking from a fire hydrant here with this information, and I'm still in the fact that 20 to 70% of it's fake.
Yeah. And I'm to the fact of look at what social media has done to our society.
I'm going to make this commitment online right now. I will not check Twitter/X until the next time we visit. We'll see how I'm doing because it threw me in a funk this week.
I'm glad I'm not on there.
Oh, it's a bad.
Facebook is bad too. I'm not going to lie. Facebook is bad too.
They're all bad.
And, Dennis and I won't say how, which, where, when, why. Dennis and I have slightly different political views, but you know what? We don't shame each other.
I know you're wrong. That's why. That's the reason. No.
Slightly, not
I
fully.
can trip with guys that we all differ politically, and it's fun. It's actually, we have these polite conversations and we go out to dinner. That we lost that a little bit, the civility that comes with a polarizing opinion. We should be getting along. Years ago, I used to listen to a radio station. This is when, before XM and before this good stuff, I would have to listen like AM or FM. That's all my choices were in the car. And I drove a lot. I was a pharmaceutical rep. And on this AM station, there was a guy who was a right-wing, G. Gordon Liddy. I went and saw him speak. He's an intelligent man. He was involved in the Watergate stuff.
I know that name. Yeah. Was he Deep Throat?
He was involved in all that stuff. So
Okay.
this is going back to the 70s. But he had his leanings were seriously right. But he would bring on his left-wing friend, Lanny Davis. And they would have these conversations, total opposites. There were total opposites. And we lost this a little bit in America. And at the end of the conversation, they differed politically like two different ends of the spectrum. And at the end of the conversation, it would be like, so are you coming over Saturday for the barbecue? Like, yeah, I'll see you then. Like they were still
Love
friends.
you, man. Yeah. Why we can't do that? Do you ever think about this? Do you ever think about, I think about this. What would your brothers do how would they feel? I think about my dad. What would my dad think about how this world is now? Because they lost, I think your brothers were gone in the 80s and 90s. My dad was gone in 92. This month will be 33 years. I always think, like, what would dad think? What would his stance be? I don't know. I didn't know my dad we didn't talk about those things. Did you talk about politics? Did you know how your parents felt?
There was a day, and the kids won't believe this, it's all affecting our mental health, where you wouldn't hear from the president for like 3 to 4 days, 5, maybe a week. There were kids that didn't know who the president was. It wasn't in the news all the time.
I didn't know who the vice president was sometimes.
Oh yeah, you had no clue who they were.
I just knew Reagan and Carter were the two I remember as a child.
They weren't posting memes, and they would go to Camp David, and they might stay there for like a week, and we wouldn't hear from them, and everything was fine, and the government just ran, and everything was great. And it wasn't a daily barrage of this stuff. It was awesome. Now
it's a performing art. You got people watching. You got to have this performance. You got to do a meme, or you got to talk bad, or call somebody a name, or all these things. As a kid, you're making it, what you're doing is you're telling young people it's okay to be mean to other people, which in return, you're going to see mental health issues. You're going to see suicide issues. You're going to see all these things being caused. That's right. It 100% does. You know what they say? Bleep rolls downhill. And that's true.
Did you bleep yourself? A producer can do that.
Well, I'll save Tim the time. Bleep.
Bleep. It does roll downhill, and it starts at the top. It's all impacting us. So I'm looking at the episode today. I hit what I wanted to hit. How much is fake out there on the social media impacting Dennis Martin Gillan's mental health. So I had to get off that. Murder, suicide, sat next to a woman. I went actually, Dylan Klebold's mom spoke at a conference I was at, and it was a small setting. And I got up and I shook her hand. I mean, it was that small.
Well, how did other people react to her? Columbine, Dylan Klebold, folks, just as a reminder.
Well, at the time, and part of her story was, they had a memorial for all the students lost. She lost a student. She lost her son, and she was not invited.
I know.
Which would have been totally weird if she did show up. There's the mom, but she had no clue. So she lost a son to suicide that day. And you just have to go hear it. Go watch her TED Talk and just come up with your own opinions. I'm not going to tell you how to think. Just go watch it and say, all right.
I know how I feel
when I listened to it. I came out like, whoa.
I know. It challenges. Remember what we said. It's not easy being a Christian ever. And it's about forgiveness and understanding. And that's the murder-suicide. That's exactly, it's really, really hard. I think about this a lot, thinking about that father for the daughter that he lost here, and how angry he is. I don't blame him. I can say all the, anger and hate only hurts you. Forgiveness will set you free. That's really easy for me to say sitting here very comfortable in my home until it happens to you, until you're that parent, or until you're the parent that loses a child that did something horrible. And then you blame yourself likely. I'm assuming she would for the rest of her life.
Yes, I get it. And I totally get it. I had a visitor pop in during our podcast.
I am
distracted. Yes.
Hi, visitor.
It's a lovely wife just popped in out of nowhere. She's working the neighborhood. But
I just give my husband the side eye when he doesn't know.
Yeah, it was a nice intrusion. But I did type in murder suicide real quick, and because I get a feed every day because of the work we do in suicide prevention and postvention and intervention, and I get a feed every day from Google. If the word suicide appeared in the news, at the end of the day, I get it.
Oh, geez,
super
Dennis,
depressed.
I'm
I
not
know.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I get I get it. It's
You just got to
business,
stay on
but
top of your
is it
game.
really?
I got a good support system. It's rough though. Some days I open it, some days I don't.
Yeah.
But more and more of those articles that are referenced are murder suicide.
I know. That's scary.
Yeah.
And I think it's what we said. You can't talk about things anymore. The first reaction is violence. And then, you get to a point where you boiled over. You don't care about your own life or another person's. And that's, I was talking last night to a friend about the kids I have in my life. And man, I'm fortunate. I am so thankful. But, I know people that were fantastic parents. Sometimes the control is almost out of folks' hands. You try to do the best you can, but our society is raising our kids without us even knowing.
Without knowing. So that's that. We're back on social media again.
Yeah. Protect your own mind first. Remember the airport saying, put that mask on or you can't help anybody else. True story.
Do that. My mind went south last week because I'm in airports. I actually spoke in Ohio this week. So I found myself in airports and waiting.
I hate airports. They're depressing to me.
Wow. Wow.
I do. I don't know why. I'm going next week. I'm going to DC. I already have the anxiety of just the loneliness and the lack of comfort and just being amongst. I feel like people in an airport are just robots. There's no emotion there, and there's no. I don't know. I'm already anxious because I hate flying, and then there's that piece.
Well, a couple of things happen. It all ties back to what we're talking about. Social media. A lot of people have headphones on, so they don't talk to you.
Yeah.
I had a guy one time at the Detroit airport, and I was at a Chili's, and I did not have my phone out. I was going to eat, and the place was packed. And he asked, could he sit down at the table with me? It was, absolutely. There's a chair, there's a spot. Turned out he was a fascinating guy. He was a drummer from like an African drum corps that was touring the States. I never would have met that guy if I had my headphones in or I was staring at my phone.
Or had a discussion with somebody different than you.
Oh, totally different. It was really cool.
There's so much power and excitement in that.
Well, it's a dying art.
Yeah.
And it affects our mental health. That's a fact.
And it makes us live in an echo chamber where we don't think about anything else outside of our own beliefs.
Hope and social connection. And it's weird. I had this observation. I spoke at the University of Delaware last semester. And I was on campus, and it was daytime, and I was walking over there to go to the hall and do the mic check and all that stuff. And I just noticed how many people were walking by with headphones or earpieces. Because when I was a young lad, and now I sound like an old man, when I was a kid,
You said lad, so
we used to run from the dinosaurs. Well, you'd walk across campus, you didn't have anything in your ears, so someone said, hey, Dennis. And if I was walking through like the student union and I saw somebody, I'd go, hey, what's up? I remember one time I was walking through campus and a bunch of guys were doing this for fraternity, Greek life, whatever. They're doing this obstacle course. I'm on my way to class. And they looked up and they saw me coming across this walkway. They said, Gillan, we need one more guy. They needed 10 and they had 9. So instead of going to class, I ran this obstacle course and I threw up. I was not in shape. It was awful. And then I was like sitting there. I'm like, I guess I'm not going to class now. But it was a social connection. I remember that. I tell you the truth. I don't remember what class I was going to. I don't remember what I would have been taught that day. But I do remember being yelled at across campus. And now if I had headphones on, I never would have heard those guys. I don't know.
I mean, we sit in restaurants all the time and watch couples. We've done it. I'll 100% admit it. Both on their phones, not even talking to each other. We do it at night. My husband gets mad at me. He's like, get off your phone. And then a little while later, I'm like, well, you're on yours too.
I hear you.
It's not good for that either.
I did see a cool post one time about all these kids went out and they were young guys and young girls, and they all went out to dinner and they would stack their phones in the middle of the table. They'd stack them up. And the first person that reaches for their phone gets the check. Pays. They pay.
That'd be me. I don't even think about it. Do you ever look at your phone and you don't even know you're doing it?
Yeah. It's almost a response now, like a Pavlov's. You just go. It's a instinct.
Yeah. And then I have people that judge, get off your phone, and then I'm over there and they're on theirs. So I'm looking at my work email. I'm working. I'm like, so you're still on your phone?
That's funny you say that. I had a woman one time. I was walking on a sidewalk, and she was coming out of a parking garage, and she's looking at her phone, and I'm like, I'm about to get run over. I literally had to bang on like the hood, like, whoa, stop. And it didn't matter. She goes, well, she rolled down a window. She goes, I'm trying to pull up my map program. And I said, it doesn't matter what program you're pulling up. I would be under your car right now if I didn't slap your hood.
Was that me?
I don't care if it's Instagram, Twitter, or
it happened to me. It happened
to me. I still would have been under your car. I'm gonna, like you run me over, and she goes, oh, I was on Waze. Like, oh, now I feel better. Like, no, I'm still pinned under your car.
I appreciate that she took, instead of flipping you off like some people would have done, I appreciate she at least took the time to try to nicely explain herself. There's some human-to-human contact.
I appreciate she didn't run me over.
People need human contact. It is a part of what we, as the human condition. You need to be able to talk to other
That's
people.
That's the open social connection.
This does not provide. You're still lonely. People are using to this point. Yes, sorry. Thank you. Our point last week. I think people can see us. I think.
How many fingers do I have up?
Don't make me do it.
1.
We talked about it last week with ChatGPT. People need we need a human, a living, breathing human to talk to.
There's a revolt going on this, and then we'll wrap it all together. There's a revolt. Okay. There was a post this week, and some media company put all these posters on about this AI. It's called Friend or something. It's your AI friend. I'll never be late for dinner. And people graffitied on it. Get real friends. Have real contact.
Yes.
They wrote on the posters. I think they spent like $1 million on redoing this whole train station, and people obliterated it. Like, AI doesn't care if you die. And it was awesome. The response was like, maybe there's a revolt happening. Maybe the pendulum's swinging the other way. I want to end up with a good message of hope. I hope I can reduce my social media usage. I hope. I'm really only on Instagram when I post. By the way, if anyone's Dennis Gillan or Half a Sorrow, look it up. That's the only place I go. It's a little happier. There's still some cringy videos on there, but it's a little happier than some of the other stuff. I got to get off X. I plan on deleting that.
Don't get on TikTok for sure.
I'm too old for that. There's an age restriction.
Hey, you're not. When I get on TikTok, I want to learn organizational and cleaning videos. I am that person.
Nice.
And food. These are things. Well, but the rest of it, they can have.
They go on that Pinterest for that. She's trying to get a charcuterie board or whatever. she goes on there for ideas. I'm like,
I have so many food recipes saved. I don't even know why I bother to cook anything, and I've never looked or used one. So that's a positive note. Use everything in a positive way. You can use social media. And when things come up, block it. Say, I don't want to see this information anymore. You'll start to try to make it a more positive experience. Try. If you must get on, and I am saying this to me, to Jessica, to Heather, if you must get on, try to make it a positive thing.
Well, half the stuff I post on social media, you just hit it. I post it for me. I always tell the listener, you're just along for the ride. I'm talking to me. And even this podcast, like I'm talking to Dennis, you get to come along for the ride. But if you look at this episode, I think we hit it all. We hit God, all the third rails. We hit politics. That's a good one. And social media, all in one bundle.
I will remind you that is a tough subject. That is the name of our podcast. And that is what we address. Tough subjects, but primarily mental health, suicide. But all of those things are tough, and they all weave directly into those subjects.
And it impacts us. Because I'm going to tie it all back to where I was this week. I was at Wood County, where Bowling Green University is. I spoke at the Wood County Suicide Prevention Task Force. They are at, right now, and it's beginning of October when we're recording this, they are at the number of suicides they have right now is the same number they had all of last year, and we have 3 months to go.
At the university?
No, at the Wood County, at the county. Yeah.
Is that Kentucky?
There is a Bowling Green, Kentucky. There's also a Bowling Green, Ohio.
Okay.
I was at the whole. Look at you, Rand McNally, whipping out those names.
Rand McNally, for those of you that don't know, was a very famous map company.
Every car had it.
Yeah.
McNally, look at you. You know Magellan over there. You know where you're going. But it was
pretty smart. I'm pretty smart.
Pretty smart. But we have Wood County Suicide Prevention Task Force right now. They're at the number they had all year, and we have 3 months to go. So let's hope for 0, 0, 0 and end it that way.
Yes.
But all these factors that we talked about today will impact your mental health, and it's up to us to put up the guardrails, to put up the walls, and say, not today.
That's right. We're in charge, folks.
We're large and in charge. All right, no
speak
fat
for
joke.
yourself.
I know I'm getting larger every day, and I like it. So there we go. You got hurt working out, and my early comment was that's why I don't work out, but we're working on it. So stay in tune with your mental health. Look for those guardrails and put up the barriers. And I promise you folks, when I get off this, I am going to try as heck to figure out how to delete my Twitter account.
I am going to try not to get on Facebook as much, Dennis. So I'm going to take that challenge with you as much. I did not say at all, but as much. Some things I have to because of work or working out in my groups that keep me motivated. But otherwise, I'm not going to go down the political tube. Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Not going to do it.
Won't do it, folks. Let's all make a commitment.
Not going to do it. 1,000 points of light. Not going to do it.
That's
all right.
right.
That's it. We end with the George Bush invitation that no one gets.
I did get it. I was like, was that George Bush?
Well, we're old. The kids won't get it, but it's a tough subject. We hit it all today. God, politics, and social media. And take care of yourself. We have to do better. I have to do better in putting up guardrails to keep my mental health on track. Jessica, it's been real. Have a great day. Hope your back feels better. It's all behind you. I
missed the other one. We're counting Dennis's dad jokes now. That's a thing that we do.
The dad joke.
And our producer.
I think we got it. I think we got this one in the can, and it's important that you do with these. Self-care is not selfish, and all this stuff impacts our mental health. Find your tribe. I could wrap it all off. Floss every day. Whatever advice I give you. But just know this.
Eat a healthy, well-balanced meal today.
Exactly.
Drink plenty of water.
Drink plenty of water. Hydrate. What else? What other advice?
Those are actually all really good things for your mental health. Just saying.
Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. There you go. All right. Wrap it up, Jessica. Bring it home. Close us out.
It's a tough subject, folks. Have a great week from Dennis and Jessica, a.k.a. Marty and Heather.